Welcome to this bite-sized video for the Digital Business Services T-Level, where we'll explore Task 2B for the Data Technician Employer Set Project. The Employer Set Project, or ESP, consists of a series of tasks designed to assess the 5 assessment objectives shown. And this skills assessment is set and marked by NCFE. The ESP is conducted during a 2-week assessment window, which is available in the summer and autumn terms. The tasks are designed to replicate the real-life industry experience, and we use employer and industry experts when developing the ESP to help achieve this. This video will focus on Task 2B, where students will be accessing and using data sets supplied by NCFE. And this activity will assess Assessment Objectives 2 and Assessment Objectives 4. Task 2B occurs during the first assessment week, and this will occur on a fixed date and time as stipulated by NCFE, which can be found in our key date schedule. This is a 4-hour supervised session with an additional 15-minute supervised rest break being permitted. If students have any access arrangements or reasonable adjustments, such as additional time for assessments, then you should apply that internally and increase the task time by the relevant amount. The assessment materials should only be accessible to students during the session, so do take account of this and ensure you have secure storage areas for students' evidence. Internet access is permitted for limited purposes, such as access to online tools for the creation of diagrams, with a copy of the student's browsing history also being required. You must ensure that privacy mode has been disabled, with policies applied to prevent students from deleting their browsing history. In this task, students will be issued with a selection of valid, reliable datasets and a dataset that requires cleansing, with the Summer 2022 brief being shown on screen. The 20 marks available are across 3 separate actions. Cleanse one of the datasets and apply a data modeling tool. Analyze the dataset against the key aims of the business in relation to the scenario of the brief, and create a new dataset by integrating what they feel are the most significant parts of the data provided. Create a short, informal email to their line manager, which outlines the technical steps they've taken and provides a justification for why they have processed the data in a particular way. The first action, cleaning the data and applying a data modeling tool, is worth 6 marks. And when it comes to cleansing the data, students may need to edit some aspects such as errors and formats, remove any irrelevant data, or protect the data such as personal information, or fix inconsistencies such as a mix of number and text, or different date or time formats, just as a couple of examples. Then there's the data modeling tool, which could be an entity relationship diagram or a data flow diagram, depending on the brief. The more practice that students can have handling and working with data, the better. And you could have students create sample tables for their peers to check, with some intentional things to address. And here's a simple example of some customer order information, which has got some data protection issues, where we can see the customer's email is visible. And there's some inconsistent date formats which would need to be fixed. And the order quantity has got a number written as a text format, with some data missing in this table too. Students have to decide as well how best to handle this and what assumptions they have made, and other potential errors that may occur, especially for fields where it might have been filled in by an individual and therefore susceptible to human input error. And I'm going to take this same table and provide a bit more background as to how it could be extended into a data modeling tool activity. In this case, we have a stationery manufacturer who are looking to launch a new and brightly coloured Pride stationery range in order to promote equality, diversity and inclusion with a focus on the LGBTQ+ community. The company has other products, and on this sheet it contains information about their already existing product range with ID codes about the type of stationery they have, the colour and material. Of course, there may be many other relevant information on this. This is just a little snapshot of the products table. And then from these ID codes, we have got other tables where this information is coming from. Now, as an aim of this organization is to launch some new brightly colored stationery, they may want to look at information regarding their current products that are actually colorful as well to gain some insight. Maybe possible design features or possible sales price, just to name a few examples. So the entity relationship diagram connecting these three elements might look like this. So a customer places an order for a certain product with a unique order ID. And as part of the business aim, we may wish to contact some customers for feedback. And we would need to know their email address, which has been pulled through from the orders sheet. From that order, we can know information about the products our customers have bought. Details such as color. So you might want to select other colorful items. And the color information from the color table is connected to the products table. So we can now see that relationship, and we can run a query on an already existing colorful products to help gain some insight into the new range. And once we have the new product ready and launched, the organization might decide to directly email certain customers, such as those who previously bought some of the colorful products that were on offer, to see if they'd like some of the color and Pride stationery range too. And we can make a data flow diagram to represent this. I'm just going to show a very simple level 0 diagram, but the specification does cover level 1 data flow diagrams too. The first would be checking our past orders for those colorful purchases that have been made and seeing them go into our new product promotion process, which we will then check past orders for certain colors against the existing product list. So for example, maybe those products that are red, yellow and blue. And if we do find such a colorful order, products that match similar colors to our Pride range, then we might decide to target that customer, as they may like bright and colorful products and may also like our Pride range of stationery. Of course, this would be a much bigger process in reality. This is just demonstrating one aspect. The second action, analyzing the data and producing a suitable output or visualization, is worth 6 of the 20 marks, split over the analysis, where students need to select the relevant variables that'll meet the aims, process or analyze the data in a relevant and meaningful way with suitable queries and functions applied. As part of this, they should have modified the datasets and produced a meaningful visualization that will provide appropriate insight, perhaps with dashboards, graphs or charts, or different ways of selecting different elements that would be relevant to the business as well. Because that is one of the key aspects, ensuring that the students always refer back to the brief and the needs and aims of the client. For the analysis aspect of this activity, students may want to apply the process of computational thinking, and starting by decomposing the problem into the smaller, more manageable, separate parts or stages. And that can help students to clarify the requirements to complete the task. and how the parts link together and are dependent on one another, making the problem easier to understand. This could be a top-down approach, bottom-up approach, or modularization approach, depending on the brief. But once done, it's often possible to identify patterns. Then abstraction can occur, and students should be considering the brief carefully when removing or filtering characteristics that are not needed. And finally, the algorithms and actions, ensuring that the algorithms are correct, solve the problem, and produce the correct and expected output as relevant to the brief. Then choosing the most suitable output for the data. And the choice will depend on the type of data and the end user's knowledge, in other words, the audience. But students will have the opportunity to justify their choices with the third and final action, which is their supporting rationale worth the final 8 marks out of the 20 available. This activity takes the form of an email to their line manager, which informally outlines the technical steps they've taken and provides a justification for why they've processed the data in a particular way, and why that was the best way for the needs of the business. So always referring back to the information in the brief. The justifications is the student's opportunity to explain their reasons as to why they've taken the steps that they have. And this is an informal email to their line manager, and the language should be suitable for a technical audience. And it's worth having students restate the business aims within the opening paragraph to ensure they're making it relevant to the brief. Then, what they did and why for action 1, the data cleanse and data modeling diagram, and any assumptions that were made, such as any changes or fixes that they did to the data and what they were assuming when they made that change. Then a section about action 2, the analysis and visualizations produced from the data, and why they took the approach they did, and how it helps the business achieve its goals. We hope you found this useful and have a better understanding of Task 2B. And do see our other bite-sized videos that form part of this Employer Set project series. Thank you.